Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm excited to talk about Dubu's CLOCKWERK gameplay. I feel like it's been a while since I've really done a full analysis, like a live analysis of a support game, like really a long time. So I'm going to help you all to become much better support players based on this gameplay. Like really just talk about the fundamentals of support, his map movements, his warding, etc, and really just help you guys get a better understanding of what makes Dubu. I think he's 10.3 or 4K. As a support, he's like an unbelievably high MMR, and it's really impressive because a lot of people think, oh, I'm a support player, I can't gain MMR. It's just not true, and players like Dubu very clearly prove that to you if you play well enough. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the Game Leap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the Game Leap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below, I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. So based on his lane, Dubu understands that he's in a relatively easy lane. Visage can be a bit of a problem in some lanes, but Visage doesn't really want to spend most of his time nuking a strength hero that's just going to spam by regen. For instance, here he has 2 mangoes, 2 tangos left, and then he's instantly shipping out 3 tangos. And you're going to see he's actually going to run at the Visage. Now, if the position 4 was a stronger hero, maybe this wouldn't be as possible. But Dubu knows that it's number 1 a Nyx Assassin. Not a very good laning hero, right? Nyx Assassin's Impale is unreliable. It just doesn't do that much, right? Also, Nyx Assassin's base damage is horrible. So Nyx Assassin just doesn't really do anything. And as a result, he can kind of just run at the Visage. Partially because Nyx is a bad hero, and partially because Nyx was half HP. So it's a really good situational play to run at the Visage here and just kind of own him, right? Completely destroy his HP pool right off the map and giving Drow a free creep wave of farm. Now keep in mind, he wouldn't do this in every lane, so just like be aware, right? This is a great lane for him to kind of zone out the Visage. I love that he doesn't completely chase out the Visage here. Instead, he turns around, identifies that Nyx is pretty out of position, and they can even look for a kill. Oh, the Drow should have kept slowing the Nyx there. That might have been a kill. But yeah, very advantageous lane. Just, yeah, this actually might be a kill. If he gets lucky on the battery assaults, it's 100% a kill. It's probably a kill regardless. I would like to see him auto attack in between the body blocks here, but either way, he decides to go for the body blocks, picks up a very easy first blood for Drow, and his aggression is paying off, right? And it's very important to understand when you have a winning lane. If you don't know the answer to that question, if you aren't sure like, oh, I don't know if I have a winning lane or not, what I would recommend is you play more aggressive than not, as long as your carry is in range to follow up on it. And the reason why I say that is the average Dota player, the average pub player, is way more passive than they should be throughout the game, and throughout the lane in particular, especially as a 5, right? Like I've coached so many 5 players, and really what I notice is that they don't buy enough regen, mana and HP regen, and then they don't literally they'll just be sitting half HP, full mana, right? 3 force HP, 3 force mana. And it's just like, what are you doing? You know, why are you not putting any pressure? And yeah, it's a skill to learn how to pressure, and let's continue to talk about that. And once again, we're going to see him find a great opportunity. What I also love about Dubu is that he's willing to go on them even if it's not going to perfectly work out, right? The Impale does end up, getting the CLOCKWERK off the Visage and the Nyx, but it doesn't matter because now that the Impale's on cooldown and Nyx goes to take the bounty room, he understands, okay, Nyx isn't here at the moment. It's a bit of a gap where I can get on top of the Visage and get off a cogs, and that's exactly what he does, right? Identifying that the Nyx isn't in the area. Nyx also had used the stun previously. They're going to be able to bully the Visage. Drow even ends up picking up the kill, which is pretty crazy. Nyx tries to punish, but now his spells are back up, and because he bought these mangoes, he's finally able to put them to use. I don't really think he should have used the battery assault there. I feel like it's generally a waste, but yeah, they get a double kill, and this lane is completely done, right? So for all you support players, I really do recommend picking lane dominators. I mean, to be fair, Clock isn't some major lane dominator. He's a situational lane dominator. He's some of the best control in the entire game for the laning stage, if you can afford to run in between 2 heroes, which fortunately for him, the enemy is bad. I think the Visage should be spamming Soul Assumption on him way more than he is, and I think the Nyx should be protecting the Visage way better. But the reality is this is a 9k MMR game, and yet these people make these mistakes. You gotta find the gaps, and then you'll become a top tier support player. One thing that I like about Dubu, just to mention it here, because a lot of support players they'll leave the lane, they'll maybe TP top, run mid, contest runes. I don't mind that, and in some games it's the correct play, right? For instance, in some games you're playing Ogre Magi and you're laning against Tidehunter. At some point in the lane, you're not going to be able to do anything, right? You have no option. There's no play. So just don't do anything, right? Just go contest runes, stack camps, maybe gank a different lane. The only other thing you could do in the Tidehunter lane is stack pole, right? That's your best bet. However, in this lane, he understands that Drow doesn't want to be left alone, and he hard counters Visage even at these levels. Right, even at these later levels, he can put an insane amount of aggression. So I like that he stays in the lane. I think a lot of support players have the idea that as the lane progresses, I have to make a move, I have to move around the map. It's not true. If you've learned to dominate your lane, you've applied good laning mechanics and good laning concepts, you can stay in the lane for a really long time. You can stack pole 8 minutes in, and it's totally viable if the enemy offlaner can't do anything about it. If they have to stay at level 4 for 10 minutes because of you, you've completely dominated the early game and you don't have to rotate to do so. And you can see he's absolutely not doing that, as they're even timing tier 2s here. Dubu going crazy as he's now going to kill himself to the tower to get a free trip back to base, buy his boots, get his boots, and now maybe he'll look to rotate. Yeah, so this looks like a good time to go mid here. You can see he's instantly looking for it. And the reason why is his mid laner is a bottle carrier who's really low on resources here, right? The Pangolier has a pretty tough matchup in the OD, so giving any help to the mid lane where possible, as long as it doesn't, grief the Drow. For instance, he could actually run back bottom. Maybe he gets a haste rune? No, okay, no rune. He'll actually scout the high ground here. Wow, finds a ward. I don't know how he knew. I'm not gonna lie, I actually don't know. And so he'll go for a cheeky ward by the tree there. So he knows that the ward was just dewarded, and he's gonna go for a ward, right? The enemy has no vision, and he's certain of that, or at least close to certain of that. And so that's a pretty cool ward, right? Behind the tree line, wrapping from the right side. Because you want to get up the hill, right? So he gets up the hill to place it, just in case anyone scouts him out. So if they scout him out, he wouldn't place it. Once he realizes he's untouched or unseen, he can go for the ward. Yeah, looks like he's going to rotate mid here. Oh, that's a great cogs. That's easy follow-up for Pango. Oh no, the Pango has no mana. It is. Oh, that's so sad. If the Pango has mana here, that's a free double. Wow, that's a shame. Because that's a next level cogs. Honestly, maybe a bit of a mistake from Dubu and the boys. I don't know why Pango doesn't have mana. I mean, I guess he has a hard lane. Meta boots on courier. Damn, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But yeah, that's the reality. They make a bit of a mistake there. I'll just be real. They need to, pay a bit more attention to their mid laners' resources because it ends up hurting them there. So one thing to keep in mind as well as a 5 player, one of the best plays in the game is to do nothing and farm mid. A lot of the time as you're rotating throughout the lanes, like you're rotating between the safe lane and the mid lane, looking for opportunities, especially if you're playing a 5 or a 4 hero like CLOCKWERK, who's, very good at making moves. Oh, this is probably not great. Oh, the Pango's in the area. That's not going to be a kill though. Yeah, okay. All right, bit of a weird play. He'll have to go for a defensive cogs here. Good cogs, right? Nice cogs. And so he'll try to protect the Pango. This is a weird engagement. And as CLOCKWERK, you don't want to overforce, right? With no cogs, he can't truly trap anyone in. He'll definitely get kited. So maybe he'll look to go in here on the gust. Yeah, okay, he'll get cookied. Gonna get silenced up. Absolutely gonna go down here, but probably a decent bait. Oh, yeah, that's gonna set up for a nice swashbuckle in a moment from now. And they're going to take down the OD. So had good patience, waited for a good gust, because walking in with battery assault is just going to cause you to get disabled, right? They're going to be able to cast all their spells on you. It's not unpredictable. It doesn't have good range, right? Nothing about Clock is fast until he hits level 6. And now he hits level 6, and I like that he's carrying a smoke. What I'd like him to consider is synergizing with the Snapfire ulti or just Pango damage. And we'll see if he does that, right? That's his main damage follow-up. And anytime you're playing a hero like CLOCKWERK or Tusker, Tiny, or Nyx Assassin, all these heroes with a lot of control, the main thing you want to do is pair up with someone with damage, right? So we'll see if he does that. He's going to push out the mid lane, even with his hook shot. And is this a kill? Okay. Well, he made the decision to solo kill the Silencer, which is kind of a play. They end up taking down the Void anyway. All right, next up, we're going to see a cool little skirmish in the top lane. I love his confidence on the hookshot here. I think a lot of support players think they should hold their ultimates or whatever, whether or not it's a Crystal Maiden ulti or a Fiend's Grip or whatever it is. They always think they need to hold it for a core, but the reality is if you hold your spells always for cores, you're not going to be able to remove a support early from the fight, right? If you have the opportunity. For instance here, if this Silencer doesn't get gone on by Dubu, he's going to get off, very valuable arcane curses and last words from the backline, right? But instead, no hesitation, jumps him, gets him into the cogs, and with max battery assault, any hero that can't get into cogs is likely going to die. His team honestly overcommits, I would say. I don't know why they would both commit multi-shot, Drowse positioning, and the snap ulti for the Silencer kill. I think that was a mistake, but I love his execution here. He pays attention to the duration of battery assault, recognizes its ending, and instead of trying to man up to an OD who can quite easily destroy him, even at low HP, right? He knows that the Snapfire is only going to be able to do about 200 damage here with the Scatterblast, maybe 250, and he's not going to be able to finish the job. So instead of manning up, he's actually going to wait it out, right? Kite a little bit, wait till the cogs come back up, battery assault up in 1, pops to 1, pops battery assault, they finish off the kill. Really, really nice execution as they pick up a massive kill onto the OD. And then from there, this was probably the craziest play of the game for me, just from like a conceptual standpoint. So he actually TP's mid here, clearly wanting to get out the mid lane and I guess get some farm. He's going to be buying a Wraith Pack this game as soon as he can, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, he TP's mid, which, I mean, I guess the Pango's not here, no one's in the area. There's no real reason to TP bottom and no hook shot, the Visage is too far away. So yeah, he makes the quick decision to actually TP mid here and just straight up farm. Definitely kind of crazy, right? Just opting to farm mid. Usually you wouldn't commit your TP like this, only because then you can't TP to another lane to help someone or TP out, or, you know, just you have to buy another TP, which is 100 gold. So usually you aren't going to make that play, but I guess in terms of XP, he thinks it's worth it. It also pushes out the mid lane, which does set up for Roshan. I wonder if that's the reason. I mean, that would make a lot of sense, right? Pushing out the mid lane is going to enable a safer Roshan because the wave isn't going to be on your high ground. It's less obvious, gives you a bit more vision, right? If they're going to approach from the mid lane, let's say someone's farming Ancients and they want to come contest Roche, if they don't get smoked, you'll see them on the mid lane, right? So it does give you a bit of information in that regard. I don't know if that's why he did it, but that would make quite a bit of sense and be a really, really high tier play, as he even swaps out his Tranquil Boots, keeping them for after the Roshan dies, and then he'll be able to heal up. Pretty cool. All right, a moment from now, Dubu's going to set up for a winning fight in the mid lane. So obviously as the Clockwork, his job is going to be to initiate. To be fair, they have a Pango and a Spear Breaker, so he's actually not really the only initiator of this game, but they get global. He's going to kite to the outside, chill a little bit, and it is definitely a decent decision to maybe look to Chainstun the Void. So, oh, okay, not like that. Oh no, the Impel comes out, otherwise he would have been able to cogs. A bit unfortunate. He decides to commit in here, and a lot of the time I wouldn't like this decision, but I think the cogs is okay here because he has 2 ranged damage dealers, and so cogsing someone, even though it's under a tower, is okay. Right, cogging, if you have like a bunch of melee carries or melee damage dealers with no range, can be a really bad idea in that case, and chasing would just be suicide and put your team out of position, right? Get you killed and put your team out of position. But with a Drow and a Snapfire following up, it makes a lot of sense, and they're able to team wipe the enemy team, right? The Snapfire, does he get the Rampage? Come on, go for it. No! Well, this is a nasty play, so this is some really advanced stuff. I don't know if it's going to work out. I'm actually seeing this for the first time. But he's gonna, so they take top tier 2, and they're actually gonna smoke to bottom with just Drow. So what they must be doing here is looking for a kill onto the Void. The only way this works is if Void has no Dispel, which, there you go. Void has no Dispel. So Dubu clearly checking items, understanding timings, knowing that the Drow Gust is an absolute hard counter to the Faceless Void at this time in the game. And so yeah, they're gonna smoke up bottom, he's gonna scan out, he knows they're holding the hill, actually gonna flare from the bottom, which I don't really love. I don't love it because I kind of feel like it gives away the fact that you're here, right? They're going to see where the flare is coming from, but I guess they don't feel like it doesn't matter. Should be an easy charge, and oh, that's going to be a great cogs. That's going to push back. Oh, surely this ends in a triple kill. Oh, great Hurricane Pike from the OD to save him at least from the charge, but that's at minimum a double, right? You'd hope. What an initiation from Dubu, and that's a great play because basically what he's reading there, this is why as a support player, you can gain him Amara. You just got to be, I mean, to be fair, he's the god of the game. He's conceptually, and in terms of map movement, just fantastic as a player. But what he did there was, after they take the tier 2, the enemy team is going to be like, okay, right, they're top. But instead, what he does is he finds a pincer angle, right? Comes from the bottom side. They're not expecting that because, you know, they just took top tier 2. They didn't see anyone push out bottom wave. Why is anyone going to be bottom? Well, because they read your movement. They expect you to stay on the bottom side of the map. Oh, that's a good hook onto the OD. Does he have the pike up? I guess not. That's going to be a kill. He's going to try to flare for it. Does get it. Void might have gotten baited in there. Oh, the gust doesn't connect. But he's okay. He's dead now. This could actually be not that bad for the enemy team. They're going to find the stun onto the Drow. They don't have the damage. Drow's going to kill them all. I think Drow's going to kill Visage too, if I had to guess. Oh, it's going to be close. The bird drops drop soon. This could be Visage's chance. Come on. Ah. Now, we will admit, I'm kind of skeptical of rushing Wraith Pact on supports. Even though, obviously, having Vlads with Drow is great and the item Wraith Pact is kind of broken, I just feel like it does delay your impacts. Like, having a Force Staff is just fantastic on Clock. It allows you to initiate and then not instantly kill yourself, right? And, like, yeah, you're not going to have a Wraith Pact at any point then, but I don't know. It's double the gold, right? You're delaying your timing. I'm a bit skeptical. either way, that's what he's going to opt for this game. Alright, now to end off the video, let's go over 2 mid to late game fights. So this fight I really love, this play in particular. We'll actually go over the fight as a whole and then go over the play I want to show. This fight in particular, what I like about Dubu's gameplay is he doesn't overforce. So he understands he's not the only initiator of this game. He doesn't have to go first. Like, certainly he does not have to go first. He can, right? He definitely can, but he doesn't have to if he doesn't have the angle. And the key thing about initiating is you want it to be very relative to your teammates, right? When you go in, you want to make sure that, right, they can't just easily be saved by OD, that the drow actually can follow it up, whatever it is, right? You want to make sure your teammates can come in. So decent chrono from the Void. I guess, yeah, the follow-up's not really there though, so actually horrible chrono. Puts down the Wraith Pact and, you know, things get weird. He got chronoed, things get a little bit weird. But what I like that he does is he doesn't panic, kind of kites out a bit. He's watching the outside of the fight, doesn't instantly try to hookshot some invisible nicks. He's watching his drow when he's watching his spear breaker. I would say he's probably should be, and maybe even is, watching the drow, because that's where the majority of your follow-up damage is going to come from. So I really like the idea of him watching the drow. Now he ends up deciding, I guess, that drow was okay. Maybe could have looked for a hook shot towards the Visage here and clean up the Visage. I wouldn't have minded that. I feel like that could have actually been the best play in that case. But he ends up just going on the Nyx Assassin and protecting his Spear Breaker. But what I really love about this clip, outside of that, is he calls a fake back. Most people don't do this shit in pubs. I don't know why. It works like literally every single time. Like no joke, it works every time. So they cogs, he backs up, he takes out his smoke. And honestly, they don't even need to smoke. Do they smoke? They probably don't even smoke. You don't really need to smoke. So they're all hiding in the tree line. And the enemy team thinks what? They think, oh, they're gone. They're back. They're going to go farm. Because that's what everyone does. Well, it's not what everyone does because it's not what Dubu makes his team do. It does. And yeah, they stick around. They stick around. They definitely didn't have to smoke, but they stick around. The enemy team kind of reads it, funny enough. He flares, which I don't really like. I can't believe Visage would see a flare and then decide to walk up anyway. That is crazy to me. But yeah, it's called the fake back. It sometimes doesn't work in high MMR because people know it's a thing, but it certainly works every game in every other bracket. The hard part is getting your team on the same page. Thankfully, people respect Dubu, which, you know, no one's going to respect you in your 3K MMR pub. Let's keep it real. But you can still sometimes, maybe you're having a good game, people will listen to you, or you're, you know, being PMA, whatever it is, and people will listen. All right, to end off the video, we're going to see just a perfectly executed team fight from Dubu here in the top side of the map. So they shift over. Pango, Spearbreaker dead. He actually wards the hill. I don't really know why. I really don't. I guess he thinks maybe they'll get aggressive off the pickoffs. But Silencer does end up getting aggressive. He puts down a ward, and Dubu initiates. Gets off a cogs, breaks out the back, doesn't want to commit too hard. As the next assassin comes in, he decides, okay, they're actually committing to this fight a little bit. And the Wraith Pack comically finishes off the Silencer. So I don't know if that was intentional. I don't think it was. But hey, he kills the Silencer. And then from there, he can look to go on the Nyx. Right, so he goes on to the Nyx, but what I really love is that he doesn't panic. He drops the cogs, 4-staffs out, right? He didn't 4-staff towards the Nyx because he's not a dumbass who offensively 4-staffs on units that already are dead, right? So he definitely doesn't do that. And then from there, the gem gets picked up, and what I really like is that he understands, okay, we got this massive ward advantage, right? And our Spear Breakers respawn. This is most certainly an engagement. So what he does is he hook shots, he walks a little bit back to the max range, and that actually drags the Visage towards his team. Really high skill play, right? Very difficult to do. Definitely is something you can mess up, but it puts the Drow comfortably in attack range, right? At a faster pace. Even if it only allows the Drow to hit maybe 0.5 seconds earlier, 1 second earlier, that's the difference between an auto attack or two. And, you know, in the mid to late game, 1 or 2 Drow auto attacks is the difference between killing someone or not, right? So, really love that play. I thought that was really cool. And that's where we're going to end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned quite a bit about the support role, Clockwork in particular, initiating a little bit. I didn't talk too much about warding. We went briefly over that hill ward there, but I just want you guys to understand that anytime you're playing, anytime you're smoking, anytime you're making a move, just try to put down a ward in that area. For instance here, as they go for a smoke and they walk up the cliff, he puts down that ward, right? So if you're going to go into a dark area, you're going to fight an area, your team wants to roach, just get down the vision. That's the best support tip you can get in terms of vision, as that's a free hook shot. What is this Silencer doing? And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.